Gonna check the mic. Looks like it's good.
Check.
Ah.
And we are ready whenever you are.
Cool. Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, John. Here with me today are Brian.
Hey.
And Alex.
Hello.
We've got some feedback from listeners, some small news bits before we dive into a review of the scourge of the internet, Anthem. But before we get to all of that, if you want to follow us on social media or see all the places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at mpn.bz/Patreon.
Yeah, if you do that, we can buy Brian a blanket for when we record.
Yeah, or a poncho.
Give me one of those Snuggie things.
With the logo on it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That would be amazing.
Perfect.
I feel like I need to make that happen.
Yep.
Is that what they're called? Like
The
they're
Snuggie,
like
the backwards
like
robe.
blankets with
It's
or
basically
blankets
just a
with arm
slanket.
sleeves.
A slanket, yeah. It's a backwards robe is all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I want one of those. Or just a bathrobe, MGMP like terry cloth bathrobe.
With your name on one side and the logo on the other.
Yes.
It's too
It has
short,
to be
though. It's going to be, like, way too short.
MGMP has to be embroidered in cursive, of course.
It's like a Game Nerds kimono or something like that. As always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to at MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. Speaking of Twitch, we hit affiliation.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
We're Twitch
Woo.
affiliates. That means you can subscribe to us now. You can give us your free Prime subscription.
Or actual money.
Or actual money if you
yeah.
want. And yeah, we've been streaming a lot more, which I'll talk about in what I've been playing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So, other than that, let's talk some feedback.
Before that,
Oh, yeah, bumper.
yeah, Horror Movie Yearbook. They talked about The Lost Boys, which is great. The time to Tim Capello discussion was very short, and I was glad that I talked about it that way on our stream. But yeah, this week I was trying to remember what they did this week because I know that I looked at it several times, but I will pull it up on my phone because I'm a terrible founder. And Horror Movie Yearbook, Red State, the Kevin Smith 2011 film Red State. So go check that out. Those guys are always good. I'm excited to give it a listen, even though I haven't seen the movie because I've always wanted to watch it, but I want to know what they want to say about it. So
I tried to watch it. I wasn't feeling it. I shut it off.
yeah. All right. Good review.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Alan sent us an email. It says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. I've just caught up on the last few episodes of the podcast while driving around the United States. It's nice to hear the excitement you seem to have about games. Alex in Resident Evil 2 and his playthrough with new unlocked characters. John almost creaming his pants whenever you get on the topic of Anthem. I just can't seem to find that in myself just now. I played a fair amount of Fallout 76, and it's been decent, but I'm not playing that anymore. I've maybe played 4 hours of Red Dead 2, and I can't seem to get into that either. I also have Assassin's Creed Odyssey still in the plastic along with Far Cry 5 in the wrapper. I don't know what it is. I feel like I really have to sink a few hours of time into a game at any given time, which I'm not willing to do most of the time. It doesn't help that I'm a one game at a time guy either. What's wrong with me? Please help. I see a few new releases coming up that I like the look of, like Shadows Die Twice, although I wish they died thrice. The little indie game Dark, D-A-R-Q, looks super cool, and Control looks like it'll be a good game when it comes out. I just don't want to buy more games when I'm not even unwrapping the ones I have so far. Any ideas? Maybe a game I can pick up and put down without having to give too much mental capacity to. Keep up the good work. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Shadows Die Twice looks really sweet. That comes out end of March. And, yeah, I'm not going to recommend The Division.
So
just because if you don't necessarily have the time for these sorts of games, like why would I recommend a game that requires a lot of investment?
Yeah.
yeah. I think what he needs to find is something like a little bit of a comfort food. And I think that's kind of fallen into Rainbow Six for a lot of us, where we're just kind of like, I don't feel like playing anything, but I'll play some Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
And that kind of like strings me along to other games that I want to play, I guess.
Well, and typically Alan is very much a open world player. Like he plays a lot of open world games. The Assassin's Creed games are big to him. The Fallout games are big to him. So I know he likes those. But if he doesn't feel like sinking that kind of time into something, it's really hard to recommend anything. I don't think he would like Rainbow Six, so I don't want to recommend that to him.
And
I know
don't
you're
play
just
it on
you're just looking for an
PlayStation anymore?
example. I would play it with anybody who wants to play.
Because
on
Rainbow
PlayStation,
Six is a thing where it's like you can get in, you don't have to like learn a new vocabulary. You got to learn a little bit, but it's not like I need to sink time into this to get my money out of it,
right?
Per se, like sink time in terms of like actively pay attention to it. that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like to me, it sounds like he's going through a bit of open world fatigue.
I think he needs to play what's it called? Game of the year last year, or not game of the year? Best indie. Why can't I think of the name? Dead Cells.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually
That's something
good.
you can get. Yeah, you can get something out of it in a short sitting.
It is very
Yeah.
easy to pick up and put down very quickly. And I think that sort of game would be perfect for the sort of fatigue that you may be having, where it's not a huge world, it's not a very long game, but it's very fast paced and easy to pick up and put down.
Well, and he said he's been driving around a lot. I don't know if he has a Switch or if he has any interest in getting one, but like a lot of the games on Switch are designed for like a pickup put down, and also it's really easy to travel with. So, you know, not that you need to spend a lot of money to make anything happen, and there's also just a very different flavor of video games available on the Switch than anything else you're gonna find.
Lots of indies.
Yep, lots of indies. Nintendo games are certainly different than anything you'll find out of Sony or Microsoft. So, yeah, I don't know. It sounds he's just got we call it gaming ADD. I think is when we can't like settle on something and actually sit down and play it for a while.
And I feel like everybody goes through that at some point.
It comes and goes.
I think I've been going through that all year so far.
Yeah.
And ultimately just following on Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
But that's our fallback. So I would definitely check out Dead Cells, Alan. I think it's a great game that you would really dig.
Yeah, we all like it.
You could also try out some Apex. It's free. There's a lot of people playing
it's true.
It's competitive.
You can finish a match in like 10 minutes.
Or
2
30,
minutes
30
if you're
seconds, depending on how it works.
Yeah.
Not a big commitment to that game, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, don't spend money if you don't have to. You know, there's definitely quality games that are free.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't invest in any other open world type games until you play the ones you already bought.
Or, I mean, maybe you cut it loose, just kind of be like, all right, I haven't opened these. I must not care about it that much. Sell them and then come back around when they're really cheap on PSN or something, you know? So.
Right on. Next email's from Gladish. It says, hey, guys. First of all, congrats on the Twitch affiliate status. I like that you started streaming more often, and I really enjoyed Alex's Daft Punk series. By the way, congrats on beating that and Tofu.
Thank you.
Keep up with the streams. They're really entertaining. Since Brian pointed out earlier this week that I'm no-lifing Siege, I have a few things to say about it since Year 4 is around the corner. I played the new operators in the test servers, and they're really fun, especially Mozzie. Taking over the attacker drones is really cool. It changes the way you drone while attacking. Gridlock is also pretty nice, but the fact that she is a 1-speed makes her less of an option for me. I feel like Alex might have more fun playing her the way he plays Jackal now and cover flanks with her spikes.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to point out is the changes coming to the playlist. They're adding a newcomer playlist where you play bomb only and just 3 maps to worry about. I think this will help new people to get comfortable with the game way better than doing situations and then jumping into casual. I also think now will be the best time for new players to join the game. Speaking about the newcomer playlist, it's strictly set up like ranked. It's like baby ranked.
Yeah,
is what it is.
You get to pick where you defend. And
They're also changing the timer in casual from 4 minutes to 3.5. This is something I'm really looking forward to because right now there's a big difference in how you play casual and ranked when you really only have 3 minutes. This should make the transition from casual to ranked easier for players and will prevent situations in casual where you wait for 1.5 minutes for the last enemy to finally show up to die. Other things coming in Year 4 is the end of the beta tag to ranked and the addition of pick and ban, and I'm really excited for that. Pick and ban was awesome.
it was cool.
That's pretty much it for Siege. I'm sure John has the rest of the 6 Invitational and Reveal panel covered, so let's get to Anthem. First, I want to point out that I'm not shitting on the game because it's from EA. Way Out also came out under the EA umbrella, and I loved it. I only played the demos, so I can't judge about the full game, but it seems like I was right about all the things I was worried about. The game was definitely fun to play, but after a few hours, it felt like I saw everything, and it felt too repetitive. Also, the cool I'm Iron Man feeling was gone pretty quickly. It doesn't look like that has changed in the full game, and a mediocre story wouldn't keep me interested. I know John has a lot to say about Anthem, so I'm almost done stealing your time. What I'd like you guys to do is each of you give a 1 to 5 rating for the game and choose between a must-buy or only if you have Origin/Premium or rent, or wait for later. That's going to do it for today. Keep up the good work and with the podcast and streams. See you in ranked. Peace out. Okay, so for Siege, the Invitational took place, the finals took place last weekend. G2 won over Empire. That was one of the most epic matches of Siege I've ever seen in my entire life. Their first round
went in overtime forever.
22. It was 22 rounds. This is the longest set of rounds in Rainbow Six history, supposedly. That's insane to me. Some of the plays those guys have are ridiculous. The G2 players are incredible. If you're at all interested in playing this game and you want to see people play at a proper competitive level, watch everything G2 does. They are incredible. Cantor Ricchetti is one of the most amazing players I think I've ever seen play this game. He blows my mind with some of his strategies. He's one of the most unique players I've ever seen. Pingu is impressive in general just because he's like the all-star of the Siege world. Like everybody knows his name in Siege, and when you watch him play, you know why. The dude is a fucking boss. Like, the Siege Invitational was sick. It was one of the most cool things I've ever spent time watching on television, and it actually, I felt like for someone who doesn't play sports or doesn't care for sports, like I felt like one of those idiots watching football on Sunday. Like I legitimately did. Like
no
I wanted to
offense
sit.
to people watching football. We love you too.
I really don't, but it's okay.
How many Budweisers did you drink?
I didn't drink any, but that's the thing is I thought about it and I was like, why don't we just have everybody over and like watch this on TV and like drink beer and like eat food and do stupid
we should
shit.
do that next time.
Exactly. I would like to if we don't go to the Invitational, which I would like to do. You can't, but I would like to go. It's in Montreal, so
That would be fun.
Brian's not allowed in Canada.
That's not something people need to know.
Yeah. Anyways, in regards to everything else they talked about for year 4, same sort of setup. It starts March 5th, I think, is supposedly when it's dropping. We're getting the 2 new operators. Then we're getting a new map. They're reworking. Shit, I had that pulled up. Let me pull it up again. Cafe for sure. Map rework in season 2 is Cafe, and we're getting a new U.S. operator and a Danish operator. The rumor is the Danish operator has stealth capabilities, which means he has some kind of stealth camouflage from like Metal Gear. That's fucking rad.
That'd be awesome.
Season 3, their map rework is Canal. It looks like an Italian operator of some sort, or I don't know what. No, that's not Italian. I'm sorry. I don't know what these flags are because I'm from America and we don't care about other countries. And season 4 is they're reworking theme park. So we're getting a new map, and then we're getting 3 new reworks of previous maps, which is pretty impressive. Throughout the whole year, we're going to get a bunch of balancing going on. One of the big focuses they're having on the game is player behavior and how people interact with each other. One of the new things they're incorporating is if you hit someone on your team with bullets, if you're causing damage to them, the first time it does damage to them. The second time it happens, it does damage to you.
Interesting.
To prevent you from team killing. So they're also reworking breach charges to be weaker, and it'll allow people to do the hot breach meta where you can basically like
breach and run in
like from the windows. Like it's one of the most epic things you can do. It makes you feel like you're fucking Tom Cruise. Like so a lot of great stuff going on with Rainbow Six, and I'm really excited. I don't really know. I'm talking too fast about it anyways. But
Webby says Lions for life.
Shut up.
We love you, Webby.
We love you, but we hate the Lions.
Also, where have you been? We want to play games with you.
He's too busy playing Blackout on PS4.
Well, that's stupid. Play it on PC.
Anyways,
Gladish's Anthem rating scale.
So we decided a long time ago we really didn't want to rate games with a numbering system.
3.
Arbitrary numbers are just kind of pointless. The guys in the Replay podcast have a really funny way of doing it. It's Jordan's triangle of rating games, which his first point on the triangle is it fun? Mm-hmm. His second triangle or point on the triangle is it expensive? Like what's the price? And then the third triangle is I can't remember now. Why is that? Why can't it? Does it look good or something like that? So he wants it has to kind of fall in all 3 of those categories of things for him to be like I want this game.
Yeah.
But you do make concessions for a game that is fun and looks good but isn't necessarily cheap and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we kind of operate in the same sort of spectrum of like we don't want to put a numbering system on this. If we'll get into our Anthem review in a little bit, but yeah. I mean, I like the game.
I paid $15 to play it, and I don't regret that. So that's what it is. But,
right. So
what's up, Nostradamus and Scooter08 in the chat?
Yo. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hello.
Yeah, I don't know. Brian, do you feel like do you think it's worth it right now? Do you want people to wait?
Well, I'm playing through the premium like you are. I mean, I signed up for the year, though, because I wanted to play Battlefield and some other stuff. So I don't feel ripped off or anything. I do feel disappointed.
Okay.
Somewhat. But, I mean,
in terms of recommending it to somebody else?
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
All right.
If I had to put a number on it.
Yeah, we'll come back around to more on it when we actually talk about it.
Yes, we will get more into this soon.
But thank you to Gladish and Alan for their feedback. Alex, you had one more from Jason.
Yeah, Jason was talking in our Discord. He gave some brief thoughts on Apex that Brian did weigh in on. He said, it's fun enough and the legends are all neat to play with. The biggest flaws with the game right now are that the storm doesn't hurt nearly enough for how small the map is. The storm should hurt twice as much at each stage to offset the fact that you can run across the whole map in a pretty short amount of time relatively. The weapons are also way too loud for a small map, and that leads to third partying be the only way you end up dying all the time. I also think on top of the sound, the weapons being lowered, that the physics of how the sound travels needs to be better. There's no reason that you should be able to tell exactly where the bullets are being fired on the other side of the mountain. So yeah, he had some good thoughts in there, just some good discussion on our Discord, which you can do for Patreon. So go to Patreon. mpn.bz/Patreon. Join us in the Discord, and we have some good talks.
Yeah. If you don't want to spend $5 on Twitch subscription, you can spend it on Patreon.
Yep.
Either way, we appreciate all of our patrons.
It's true.
Especially Jason K and Gojo.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's talk what we've been playing.
Yes.
Alex, you've had a few. Brian, you've pretty much same old.
Yeah, I've just been doing Apex, I think a bit of Destiny. And what we're going to talk about.
Very cool.
That's about it.
I haven't played anything new. I've only
Rainbow Six, of course.
Yeah, Rainbow Six. I played a ton of. I played more Sea of Thieves. We played some Sea of Thieves the other night, which was a lot of fun. And Anthem. Alex, what about you? Had a handful, I think.
Yeah, there's a demo up on the eShop for Yoshi's Crafted World. It was fun. It's a Yoshi game, as similar as they have been. Yoshi's Woolly World was also quite good, and this one looks like it's going to be just as good on the Switch.
Sweet.
So people should check that out if they would like to. Part of the Nintendo Direct that we'll talk about, Tetris 99 came out. It is a Tetris Battle Royale game.
Which sounds ridiculous, but then I was listening to the Split Screen podcast, and Maddie Myers was talking about it. And I was like, holy shit, this sounds right up my alley because I get so fucking competitive when I play Tetris.
Oh, it's great. It's really, really cool. There's some interesting ways about how you attack the other players. You can kind of decide based on categories if you want to attack people, or you can select people singularly and attack them that way. Because you see your Tetris well and then 99 smaller ones around you that kind of update in like a slightly slower refresh rate than real
do they
time.
show you who's shitting on you?
Yes.
Oh man,
yeah.
I just want to pinpoint one person and make them fucking miserable.
Oh yeah, and that'll happen. So there's also categories you can do. You can tell it, I want to attack people that are close to KO. I want to attack people that are attacking me. I want to attack people that have knocked out a lot that people. That's the badges option, because you get a badge when you knock somebody out.
There's like a whole different layer
there's
of
strategy to this game. Yeah, there's absolutely that.
Badges?
That battle royale strategy to Tetris 99.
We don't need no stinking
There's also
badges.
a random that lets you attack whoever.
I think the only thing that's kept me from trying that yet is that I'm terrible at Tetris.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's certainly like, I don't know. It feels like if you're going for pure damage output, you should be going line by line. But I'm the kind of person that lines up an actual Tetris
stacks,
and
yeah.
wants
See,
to.
that's what I'm bad at. I can do line by line pretty quick.
That might be the advantageous to do.
I think there's strategies for both ways.
Yeah.
It's just, but again, you need to formulate your strategy, and the other strategy is how you're going about your attacking.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, if you open up to all of your attackers, that's a good way to start chaining. Like, it'll chain into like a big network. You'll get like 5 people attacking you at once or more, and so you kind of have to decide exactly how you want to disperse your damage.
Dude, I would totally just pinpoint one person to make them miserable.
That's great.
Oh, and they'll pinpoint you right back. Any lines they clear come back to you too. So, and every person you knock out, you will start. You get like a multiplier on how many lines you're sending them, essentially.
Okay.
So if you've knocked out a bunch of people, you get more badges, and the badges mean that you are multiplying your
all them
your
stinking
damage.
badges.
Yes. So Tetris 99 is quite cool. The other thing I've still been playing is Resident Evil 2. I forget where I was last time that I did this, but basically I started streaming on like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday with a program I like to call Daft Hunk. Because I did try the hunk mode that I talked about last time.
Yeah.
And there's 4 episodes of it up on YouTube. You can check it out, see whether or not I beat Hunk, see whether or not I beat a Tofu run, see whether or not the DLC that they put out is worth it. So yeah, these things, all of the Resident Evil 2 stuff is great. I think it's a fantastic game. It is absolutely worth the $59.99 to do it. And I'm gonna continue to play some Resident Evil on stream as well. So check out for Daft Hunk. I usually post on our Instagram and Facebook and such when I'm gonna go live later that night. So and I want to do like a Tuesday night Tetris, a TNT kind of deal. So that might happen too.
Cool.
But we're trying to stream more. Follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on Twitch. You'll hear about when we go live. And of course, there's always the backup streams that go on there for things like Daft Hunk and this show that we're recording now. That's going to get exported to YouTube. I haven't been exporting like the Sea of Thieves and Rainbow Six stuff that we've been doing necessarily, but maybe we'll start exporting that stuff too. But yeah, no,
right on.
That's pretty much it.
Cool. Let's hit some news.
All right, news. Oh, that's just us. Just kidding. All right. So here we go.
Reggie from Nintendo is retiring.
The Reginator, Reggie
The
Fils-Aimé. Yeah, no, he tweeted this out. He had a very important announcement. I don't know if you guys watched the video or not, but like as I was watching it, I was like, wow, this is sad. Like this is the end of an era.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because I mean he's kind of a big deal. He's done a lot for the company.
Yeah, no, and I mean he's also been he's been the topic of so many memes and things. Like, what's the internet gonna be anymore without Reggie around? So, how am I gonna know when my body is ready if Reggie isn't out there?
The dude taking his place, his name is Doug Bowser.
Doug Bowser,
I was looking at that. That's
that was
funny.
the perfect. I remember when he joined, they tweeted out a picture of him, and in the background of the shot that they had taken
behind his desk.
Yeah, he had Mario, like little plush Mario and Luigi tied up together.
Yeah, they were
his
bound
shelf.
together. It was pretty funny.
And then there was another thing that I saw. Around the release of Nintendo Labo, they had him in like a Nintendo Labo Letterman jacket, and it's like Doug Bowser putting together Labo with his son, and it was one of the Bowser Jr. kids in the chair.
Yeah.
So he's got a good sense of humor for it, it seems, and it'll be interesting to see.
Hopefully, he does a good job
where he takes that away. But
I think he will. It's definitely an end of an era.
I mean, this is a good time to take over because Nintendo's doing well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Reggie was probably like, "All right, I've ridden this wave.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it rip."
There's always been rumors too of like how much Nintendo of America really gets to say in anything that happens because Nintendo's a Japan-based company, and we know Sony's kind of made that switch over, but I don't know if Nintendo has yet.
Yeah.
So, but no, hopefully Doug does a good job.
For sure. We wish him well.
Yep.
All right, Microsoft and Paradox are allowing open game modding on Xbox One for the first time. This is kind of they Fallout 4 had some modding going on with it
on both console platforms.
Yeah, on both console platforms. It started out on Xbox, and Paradox. What did they did? What game was it?
They've done a lot of
my
random
brain is
stuff.
like I'm totally brain farting on all this stuff right now. It's killing me.
Yeah. So it looks like they're putting out a game called Surviving Mars. Or no, it's out already.
It's been out, yeah.
But they launched a modding this like open modding platform for it this past week, and there's no like pre-approval or anything required for you to put the mods out. Which
that's the big deal here. Like there have been other games with mods, but it's been very regulated.
Yeah.
On Xbox, and
no
now
nude
it will
mods.
not be.
Now there will be nude mods.
Yeah,
totally. Clean faces.
You can now survive Mars in the nude.
Hell yeah.
With a clean face. Brian's very angry. But no, yeah, that's very cool. It would be awesome to see consoles open up more like this, but we'll never see it from Sony. So.
No, I mean it's interesting in general that they would allow this sort of thing on consoles because consoles have always been such a closed platform.
Yeah.
And I mean that's the thing. Like, who knows what kind of mods they're going to come out with? Like, what kind of processing power they're going to need and require? Like, can these consoles actually handle it? So this will be a nice little testing ground to see like what we're capable of accomplishing.
And it's always kind of been the we don't allow this because we're afraid of people putting
Nudes.
copyright. Well, no, like copyright more so than like naked models of their game. They don't want people putting up like, here's Hulk Hogan and blah, blah, blah. And so like it'll be interesting to see how well they police it when it's open.
Yeah.
And there's no approval process.
You can make Hulk Hogan in Soul Calibur. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
that's the thing. Like in Soul Calibur and all those like wrestling games, you can always download like Homer Simpson and all
ridiculous
of these,
characters.
So, nobody's ever had a problem with that. But yeah, that's cool.
Next. Rumor, Scalebound lives on as a Nintendo Switch exclusive. So the game that was going to come out on Xbox called Scalebound, which was basically like How to Train Your Dragon Xbox, is now possibly coming out for the Switch, which, as Brian, I think you said in the chat, that seems much more likely of like
yes.
The environment of the Switch seems much more accepting to this sort of game than Xbox.
Yeah, it just seems like stylistically, it seems like a game that would be on a Nintendo platform much more than Xbox.
Yeah.
And it also seems like one of those games I will still not pick up because I don't like the style of it.
Yeah, somebody from Game Informer, Irman Khan, had hinted that Nintendo was reviving a game thought to be long dead, and some people are saying that Scalebound maybe fits the bill. Plus, Scalebound is made by Platinum Games, who announced a new Switch game in the Direct that was this past week. They're also the people behind Bayonetta, which is obviously something that Nintendo is passionate about. So this makes sense. And nobody knows that this is like, oh, they're starting from the ground up or they're taking assets from it or what the deal is. But I know there was at least some segment of people that were bummed that Scalebound wasn't going to happen on the Xbox anymore. And so hopefully this comes to light.
I feel like we should also add here that the Xbox Game Pass is rumored to be coming to the Nintendo Switch fairly quickly.
Yeah.
With Ori and the Blind Forest being one of the first games released on it.
And also like potentially Forza or like one of the big Microsoft.
That's pretty exciting that they're really tearing down some walls here.
So. If it turns out to be true, I feel like that GDC talk that kind of blew the doors open on this possibility, and the whole Xbox Live coming to other platforms thing is going to be maybe around when we start hearing more about that. But
I'm just hoping more of these games that have PC versions will actually be available through Game Pass, like Ori and the Blind Forest, for example.
Yes.
Like, why can't I play that even though it is a PC game?
Well, and it took Ori forever to get into Game Pass, too, which was kind of weird because I ended up buying it because it was never going to get in there.
Probably because it was selling so well.
Probably. But, no, it'll be interesting. I think, and there was somebody that was going to publish Ori separately for the Switch, too, which was weird. But that was another rumor. So, yep.
More Switch news or just like side scroller in general.
Indie news.
Yeah, not really Switch.
Hollow Knight's getting a full sequel. It originally was going to be just DLC, a separate DLC coming out for Hollow Knight, but they decided to extend it into a full-fledged sequel to the game. I don't know who all's played Hollow Knight, but that's one of the hardest fucking games I've ever played.
I tried to play it and I gave up.
I did too.
It's fantastic and it's beautiful and it runs so well on the Switch, but it is one of the hardest games I've ever played.
Yeah, so basically they were like, whoops, we made too much DLC, so this is a sequel now.
Now you have to pay for this.
Yeah, I think I picked
you will pay a premium.
that up kind of around the same time as Dead Cells.
Oh, I got this on sale for like $3 on PC, and then I bought it again on Switch just to have it on Switch.
Yeah, so, no, that's really cool. It's cool to see an indie continue to thrive after their big breakout.
We had a very Nintendo-centric news section this week.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not going to get any better with this next one, so get ready for Nintendo news.
Next.
It's called
Silk Song.
Hollow Knight Silk Song is the name of the game, so keep an eye out for that. I don't know if they had an actual... It's going to launch on PC, Mac, and Linux, and Switch first, and then Xbox One and PS4 will follow later, but there's no word on a launch date yet. So
I wonder if that means the Switch version sold better than the Xbox and PS4 version.
Probably.
Since they're releasing it on Switch before the other two.
Maybe. But, I mean, it took them a little while to come out for those as well. I think it came out for...
PC first.
PC first, then it ended up on Switch, and it came to PS4 like even after the Switch launch.
Switch launch.
So
the Switch launch.
All right. And then Nintendo Direct happened this week. We're looking at the Polygon 6 things you need to know. Mainly, Super Mario Maker is getting a sequel for Switch. It's not just a port.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like they have added the Super Mario 3D World stuff, which was the Wii U game.
Mm-hmm.
They've added a tile set for that. You can become Catsuit Mario and use the powers that he has and stuff like that. So that looks quite cool.
You can make slopes now, which apparently wasn't something you could do before.
Yes, slopes were the slopes that you would see in, like, I think Super Mario World. Maybe they were in before that. I'm not sure.
I think they were in before that.
But slopes can be added now as well. And it looks like they've added, like, radial dials that allow you to make things with controllers a little bit easier than previously. So
is there touch screen?
There is touch screen,
because I feel like that's the most important.
Yeah, there is touch screen support, so you will have to undock in order to make something like that, which is kind of sad. They brought this up on Giant Bomb. They're like, so how are we going to stream out us making levels? Because they do that, and the streams that they make are a lot of fun. So that's a little bit of a bummer that might not be possible. I don't know if there's any weird USB-C trickery yet to make
use
that
the touch screen
with an HDMI cable.
Yeah,
but who knows?
You probably could, because they have that travel dock.
Yeah,
that basically it's basically just a charging stand / travel dock.
They could always just take a hacksaw to the front of the dock.
That too.
But yeah, it's not very ergonomic. Zelda Link's Awakening, the Game Boy and Game Boy Color game, is now coming to...
It's one of the best Zelda games, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Supposedly made by the Link to the Past team.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a remake coming for Switch. It is a full remake. It's got like tilt-shift graphics to it. Really cool animation style. There's people being butthurt about it already, just like Wind Waker.
It looks like Tunic, but it's Zelda.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, that's very true.
It makes me really pumped for both of those games.
Yes. No, it looks very good. It also, there were some people looking at it and seeing that, like, the way it was set up looks like there won't be as much inventory management as there was in the Game Boy version, because you had to, like, assign certain items to A and B.
Dude, it was so long ago. This is one of the only other Zelda games I've ever beaten, but it was so long. I was like probably 7 when I played it. So
it's a great game, and I'm excited it's getting a remake. Platinum Games announced Astral Chain, which is coming to Switch this summer. If you know Platinum, you know what type of game they make. It's a synergetic action game, which is how it was described, but it's coming out August 30th, and if you like Platinum, you'll probably like it.
It looks kind of cool to me.
Yeah, it looked very interesting. It has a very interesting art style to it. So, Tetris 99 already out. It is free for those of you that have Nintendo Switch Online. So that means it's about $20, and it's worth it. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. People have data mined it and have seen that there will probably be more modes coming to it too. Because right now it's a little bit bare bones, but it's cool. Fire Emblem Three Houses got delayed to July 26th. Not a huge deal, but they basically were just like spring 2019. Now it's moved into summer. But there's a pretty extensive look at it in the Direct, and you can see kind of how the combat flow is going to work. And it all, in general, looks pretty similar to previous Fire Emblem games. But it's cool to see one in full 3D again, rather than like the 3DS kind of... still kind of isometric, not isometric, but like top-down view. So, and then Box Boy is going to make it to Switch. This is a big Nintendo 3DS eShop title.
I didn't read about this one.
It's an interesting platformer where you're a box that can kind of like change your shape by adding other boxes to your shape.
I'm guessing you are also a boy.
Yes, but you can also be a box girl in the new one, which is cool. With some 2-player co-op as well. But no, it looks really cool. It kind of reminds me of Snipper Clips a little bit in the way that it kind of functions.
Nipple slips?
Yes, nipple slips.
Okay.
And no, it looks like it'll be quite cool. So, yeah, no, other things that got announced real quick. They had Final Fantasy IX is already out on the Switch, but Final Fantasy VII is coming in March. There's a demo for Daemon Ex Machina, which is like an Armored Core-ish type game.
That'll be cool.
That's going to be out. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice is coming to the Switch, which is awesome.
Sorry.
Deltarune, which is the Undertale kind of like remix game, is going to be a free download on February 28th. There's a new Square Enix RPG called Oniaki that's coming to the Switch this summer. And Marvel Ultimate Alliance also coming this summer. DLC for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Dragon Quest XI is getting like a definitive edition on the Switch, and it looks great. I really want to pick it up, even though I know I'll never have enough time to actually finish it.
Yeah.
But no, it's it was a great direct, and it was awesome to see that they had a lot of great announcements to make. Still sad that there's no sign of any.
Was this the one that had all the Final Fantasy stuff too?
Kind of. They like announced that at a previous one, but this one was like Final Fantasy 9 is out now and 7 is coming in March.
Yeah.
So there's more coming later too.
I heard they're just buggy PC ports.
Yes, it is the PC and mobile port.
That's
from
just
what I
sad.
understand, which kind of sucks.
Square should know better than that.
They really should.
Shame
Especially after all that shit that they got for the Chrono Trigger
on them. Yeah.
on PC.
Yes. So hopefully they get back around from that, or maybe they'll try to make good on it. I don't know, but maybe not. So, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about Anthem.
All right.
The internet hates this game. They fucking hate it. They think it's one of the worst games ever made, supposedly. Not really. But they've said a lot of really bad things. Anthem is a third-person shooter, looter that takes place in
Bastion,
which is some form of the
planet,
Has
whatever.
nothing to do with Bastion, the game.
Nope.
You get to hop into these sweet javelin suits that make you into Iron Man and fly around and shoot things and blow shit up and do all kinds of cool stuff.
It's like Destiny and Division and World of War. It's an MMO-ish type of game.
In an Iron Man
Destiny,
suit.
Division, and Warframe like mixed into one.
Yeah.
With mostly the Division's shooting mechanics.
Yeah.
All right. It's hard for me to talk about this game because I know how much I really like it, and I don't understand why other people don't like it, other than like everyone's like, oh, Destiny and the Division like did all these things really bad, and Anthem should have learned from that, and blah 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 blah. And Alex, you and I had a conversation last night about this, being the fact that we as consumers have allowed games like this to perpetuate and keep happening. And we've shown these big-ass companies with a lot of money who don't care about anything except for the bottom line that we're willing to pay for games that aren't finished. And we're willing to pay full top dollar for them or whatever. The internet can't accept this sort of thing, and they don't accept this kind of game at all. Like, the only thing people find redeeming about this game is that the gameplay itself, like the shooting and flying, is really cool. That's the only good thing I feel like anybody says about this game.
Well, and I also know some people that don't necessarily agree with that either, but like other aspects about the game too.
Yeah. Alex and I played last night for a little bit just to kind of finish up. There's a mission about, I don't want to say halfway through, maybe a third of the way through, that is basically kind of level locking you to the point where you have to grind through a bunch of random shit in order to get past it. It could take a lot of time to do this. We kind of cheesed the system, and it didn't take us too much time other than the asshole that kept interrupting us.
Stealing kills.
Dr. Timo.
Yeah.
Dr. Timo eats shit.
Dr. Timo!
Alex even yelled at him over like the push to talk, and he just kept coming back.
Yeah, I was like, hey, dude, can we have some space? And then he like disappeared, and we would completely lose track of him, and then we'd be like really close to finishing something, and then he would appear again out of nowhere.
You would say perhaps he was shitting in your living room?
Yeah, he was shitting in the living room for sure. But so...
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, you're good. So we were able to get through this whole segment of the game that supposedly is supposed to take a ton of time. It really doesn't, because it's cumulative from everything you've accomplished in the game up to that point.
As of the day one patch. Before the day one patch, which, you know, we paid to be able to play.
But I hadn't even gotten to that point until the day one patch had been released early.
And that's fine, but there are plenty of people who paid for Origin Premiere or paid for the $120 version of this game who got to that point, and apparently it was broken, and you could not actually like finish some of those quests.
It wasn't broken. You could finish all the quests. The problem was it like wasn't cumulative. It started you from scratch with all of those different
categories. There were
categories.
people having trouble like it wasn't actually recognizing the things they were doing.
See, I just heard that they had to start from scratch for each of the points that you had to meet. Anyways, besides the point. up until that point, the story was pretty basic. Big bad guy wants to steal artifact to become ultimate power. That is the main
to become
story.
more big and bad.
A lot of people.
Spoiler alert.
A lot of people on the internet are comparing it to Thanos. The main enemy as being some Thanos-ish character in how he's portrayed and who he is and what he's doing. But in all reality, like he's one of the most endearing. Like I think he's an amazing villain. Like I just think he's extremely well acted, and the game has great voice acting, great animation. The sound design is incredible. The music is fucking amazing.
The music is the best part of the game.
The story itself, though being basic, is completely fine to me because I understand that like nobody's original anymore, and I'm kind of over the fact that like people are like, why isn't this the most original story ever written? And you want to know something? Because there are no original stories anymore, bro. Like everything's been done. Like just fucking get over it.
I don't know that that's true, but I think it's worse when you like make games that in broad strokes are kind of just your old games, which I feel like a lot of Anthem borrows a lot of Mass Effect in a lot of ways.
I haven't played too far into it to where I can like actually gauge how deep the story is. But I mean, so far it seems pretty simplistic, like you're saying. Like, yeah, evil guy has artifacts, wants to do evil shit. That's fine with me with this type of game. Like, if this were Dragon Age or like Knights of the Old Republic,
Any
and
other
the story was
BioWare
this
game.
basic, that would be a problem. But this game is like a cooperative-ish looter shooter, so like you don't want the story to be too deep because you can't hear it half the time because you're busy talking to your friends.
Well, and like last night, as John and I were finishing up the whole like fetch quest, whatever kind of thing, we were basically just like, all right, because I thought it was close to the end of the game, and I have been disproven at that point. Now that I've looked at lists of missions, I think we're maybe like 2/3 of the way through.
We're now approaching the point of the demo.
I think you guys
In the
have played
story.
more than I have then.
Yeah, I've got about 12 to 15 hours at this
I
point.
would say at this point I maybe have 10, but I don't
Okay.
know that. Because apparently the origin counter is like way off.
Yeah,
Surprise.
it's not very accurate.
But like we were like, okay, let's play through some missions, and we're just not gonna talk to each other until we know, because we're both gonna experience the story at the same time, and if we want to hear it, there's no reason that two adults can just decide to not talk for a minute. That's possible.
Yeah.
And like playing it that way was actually a lot of fun. Like it was cool to like sit down and be like, all right, everybody, like, hey, John, you want to go talk to people around the town? That's fine. I'm going to sit in the forge and make myself try to look more like Iron Man.
That's what I wanted to do, but
that's
John
not,
insisted on playing by himself instead, which made me not want to play the game at all.
well, at the same time,
because I wanted to play this game with friends.
at the same time, it's kind of like there are some people that are like, oh, I just want to go and shoot. You're kind of like, I don't really care about the story because I want to shoot shit. And that's kind of what you're saying. And that's like,
I don't care about the story if it's really basic, like
what's in the game right now.
okay,
right?
I'm saying I don't care if the story is basic because a lot of people will probably ignore it due to the type of gameplay it has.
Okay.
And I just think, and
But
I was stating this last night.
But
that
if you want to pay attention to it, that's fine. That's nice, and I think you can totally do that playing with other people. If they're people you know, and you can be like, "Hey, shut up for a second," and that's
just,
fine. But
I feel like our like demo experience with this was not indicative of that all of us wanted that from this game. So anyway, now that we're maybe on the same page, we can go back and help Brian do all the unlocking shit in order to open up the stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't even want to play with Alex, but it was a lot easier to get the unlocking shit done with another person.
that's what I was trying to
that I
tell
could
you.
actually- but it only for that specific mission. After that, I could have just gone on by myself.
There's literally one thing where it's like I need to have two things where it's like I need to have somebody else to make this easier.
I just feel like if you want to play a game by yourself, especially a BioWare game, don't play this one. Play a better one. Seriously.
That's a good point.
Go play through all three Mass
Effect
Effects by
Andromeda.
yourself.
Yeah.
Even Mass Effect Andromeda, maybe. At this point, I mean, they've probably patched it enough
No, don't
where
play
it's
it.
okay.
Don't play
Maybe. No, fuck that game.
Never play it.
Anyways,
I will say the combat was okay in that game.
We've
And
said that every time we've brought up.
They've
Mass Effect
borrowed
Andromeda.
a fair amount from that game.
Oh, totally.
Combat-wise, which is good. Fortunately, they didn't borrow anything else, as far as I can tell. So,
John, let me ask you this: do you not acknowledge that this game has shortcomings?
It has shortcomings, but I don't feel like the shortcomings that are the most jarring to me are the ones that people don't pay the most attention to.
But okay, so the game has shortcomings.
Yes.
All right. This is a product which you can pay $59.99 for.
Yes.
All right. If you were to pick up this game and play through it, and with those shortcomings be disappointed about that, is that not a valid feeling on it?
If I hadn't had the rest of the internet barking in my ear about what's bad about this game, I probably wouldn't care. Being who I am,
No. I'm not. Okay, so try and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Joe Schmo, who's been looking forward to Anthem for quite a while, gets home and plays it, and he starts having trouble with the tombs or whatever because he can't finish the objectives for it, or it keeps quitting on him. You are the only person I know that has dropped out of the game 4 times in a night because it keeps freezing on you.
Funny story about that. I had not had any issues until the day 1 patch.
Interesting.
And everyone else on all the reviewers that I had listened to on YouTube, even Jason Schreier and Kirk Hamilton on Split Screen talked about how they kept crashing the game. It kept just kicking them out and everything. And I had not had that problem until I had listened to Split Screen, for one, watched all these other YouTube videos, and I'm sitting there going, are we playing the same game? Because I'm pretty sure we're not. Then I get the day 1 update, and then all of a sudden I crash constantly.
I had a similar experience. It hasn't crashed on me constantly, but
constantly is I'm over exaggerating.
Actually, I'm not sure it's crashed at all.
It's crashed 3 times.
The performance of the game is significantly worse since that patch for me. I installed the newest NVIDIA drivers too, and that didn't help either. I lost probably 15 frames per second on average since I installed that patch.
Well, but beyond that, dude who's picking this up on his PlayStation and you hang on the screen. I had it happen to me where it was I finished an expedition ready to go back to the Forge, and it never popped up the option with, do you want to go to the Forge or do you want to go to Fort Tarsus? It just sat there. And that's fine. Whatever. Cool. I have to restart the game once. But all of that on top of the fact that you need to go through 4 loading screens in order to try out a new weapon that you got.
Yeah, okay. The one bug I kept, if I may interrupt for a second here.
I guess.
The one bug I kept... go on. Never mind.
No,
I'll remember.
let's
you know how my memory is, though.
I wanted to read an excerpt from the Polygon
The
review.
one bug I did keep encountering is I was using one of the pre-order weapons that you get,
it disappeared.
and it kept unequipping, and I didn't realize it until I was in the field, and that brought out one of the game's biggest problems, which you have a problem with it too.
Yes.
Everybody has a problem with this, I think,
So
except for maybe John, is the fact that you can't equip anything when you're out in a mission. So,
here's a quote from Polygon.
Okay, go ahead.
Here are the steps to equip new gear in Anthem. I kill an enemy and a purple diamond pops out of it. I fly over and touch the purple diamond. A pop-up on the screen confirms that I have found an epic piece of gear. I complete the mission that I'm on, and I get a load screen. Upon completing the mission, I'm given a list of all the loot that I found. It turns out there was a purple assault rifle in there, and in order to equip that loot, I must travel to the Forge where all gear is equipped. Another load screen. I equip my epic assault rifle. I equip the other loot I've found. I am satisfied with my current loadout. I leave the Forge. Load screen again. I start another mission to try out my new assault rifle. Load screen. I shoot a bandit. The assault rifle feels bad, and I want to switch back to what I was using, so I repeat steps 6 through 11. That is negative progress from Destiny 1. Destiny 1.
Even Destiny has learned from Destiny. And since the Forsaken, you don't have to go back to the tower to decrypt engrams anymore. They just automatically decrypt in the field,
regardless
so you can use
of that,
the items you have immediately.
Forget about the decrypt thing, which is also dumb, but fine. The idea that you can't have an inventory of things that you can switch between, you had 9 other items in Destiny to switch between while you're in the field to try out, see what you like, that type of thing. You can't do anything like that, let alone the fact that you can transfer things from your vault to your inventory in Destiny using a third-party app, which is ridiculous too. There's no level of that anywhere in Anthem. And that is a serious design flaw for a game where it's like, oh, I just got a sweet new gun. I want to try it out. Give me 15 minutes to go and switch it into my inventory. That sucks.
I mean, you can't switch any of the components either, which completely alter the way your abilities behave.
Absolutely. And you're supposed to load in with 4 randos and hope that everybody's got a primer and a detonator, which you probably don't even know what that means in the context of this game because it's explained nowhere in the video game. These are things that suck about this game. All of that said, I like the game. I think it's fun when you learn all of this stuff on your own by going on the internet. It's like the Dark Souls of MMOs.
But again, it's a thing that we have shown developers.
No. Yes, no. Because there are people that have complained about this every fucking time. Every time. And that does not mean that you get a pass because so many people have bought your thing. You can choose to not make a superior product.
I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is from a business standpoint, we've shown developers that we're okay with that sort of shit.
That we're okay with buying broken games.
But this is me saying right now. This is me saying right now that I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with this. Everybody on the internet who hates this game has voiced their opinion that they're not okay with this.
I'm not okay with buying broken games. I expect when I buy a game that it might not be broken, and then I get
This
screwed.
isn't even broken though. This isn't broken. This is just a bad video game. That is bad video game design. That is happening within this game.
And my thing is, I want to understand why they made those decisions to do the things they did. Is it like
they didn't play Destiny or The Division enough? Clearly,
was it to keep people playing the game longer because you have to stay in menus longer to do all that shit, or like to just make their numbers go up? You know what I mean? Like.
That would be sweet if we could ever get an explanation like that.
Maybe they're still trying to figure out how to use that stupid Frostbite engine.
It's the same sort of thing where like they put in this grindy 4-part quest at the 10-hour mark of the game, so that the people who bought the premium, who bought the basic Origin pass, have to buy the premium pass to continue with the game. Like this thing will take enough time to grind out the last 2 hours of your 10-hour demo.
And people are skeptical about that. But it's also something they did with Mass Effect Andromeda too. Like you could play 4 hours of Mass Effect Andromeda in their like 10-hour game preview or whatever. It's like I'm not going to play 6 hours of Mass Effect multiplayer, which is fine, but whatever. Besides the point, these are design flaws in this game, and it makes the experience worse.
Yes.
And I think for somebody to say I would be disappointed if I spent $59.99 on this is a totally valid opinion, whether or not the feedback loop of, oh, we've gotten money for this game anyway. There are people that pay for Destiny a year out, and that's a vastly better experience than when you bought Destiny on day one. And the money that you get a year in is not condoning all of the mistakes that happen in year one. I think that's just a poor argument that allows the perpetuation of poor game design. Whereas these guys were like, hey, we're going to kill Destiny. And they did not choose to look at Destiny and learn from its mistakes. Like that's what you do when you want to make a better product. I don't walk into making a car and being like, you know what? Volkswagen's doing pretty good, but I don't really care what they're doing. No, you take their car, you tear it apart, you see what they're doing with it, where you can do things better. Like, that's the whole point of this, is like, we want our game to be the best that it could be, and this game isn't there yet, and it might get there, and that will be a very cool game.
That's the thing, man. That's what I'm afraid of. It's not going to get there. With the bad reception that it's had, I could see EA pulling the plug on the whole thing.
And that's possible.
And that terrifies me because I want to know what this game becomes. Much like I gave Destiny a chance to do that too. And I'm not blaming Bungie for the shortcomings of Destiny. I'm blaming Activision for that. There's no bones about that. Everything wrong with Destiny was because of Activision as far as I'm concerned.
Destiny 1 had a lot of problems without like, I guess that's still Activision.
It was
potentially,
still Activision.
But like, I don't know. There's a lot of good in Anthem. A lot of the lore is really cool.
Yeah,
but it's also kind of Grimoire cards. and I wish it was more in the game. And they haven't figured. Nobody has
like,
still.
It is. You pick up a codex or whatever they're called in there. It's still in the game for you to read.
The main story is told properly through the game, and the other stuff, extracurricular from the main story, is told through the codex and the lore and everything.
But that extracurricular
and the grimoire
stuff is so much cooler.
Right. But the thing is, and I don't disagree with that, but it again, like in Destiny 1, they had the grimoire cards, and the reason they did that is because they fucked up the whole story in Destiny 1 and had to rewrite the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
So they pulled everything out that they originally wanted, and they made the grimoire cards so people would actually have something to read about the story outside of the game, because the game itself had no story, period. Then, because everyone was like, oh, we want the story in the game, so Destiny 2 came out, and they put a bunch of fucking story in the game. And then what did everybody do? They were like, where's the fucking grimoire cards? We can't read about the history of this shit.
Well, and
then everybody was mad. So you get this damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situation. And this, I feel like Anthem actually does a better job of dealing with that, because you're getting the bulk of the legit main story is this pretty fucking epic, sweet story. And then you get all the subsidiary extracurricular nonsense stuff that you don't necessarily need to know, but knowing it does make everything else a lot cooler. And it makes you kind of go and investigate.
I enjoy the nonsense stuff, like walking around and having conversations with various characters and stuff. But that's because that's what BioWare does well. And I don't think they understand how to make a looter shooter kind of game, whatever you want to call it.
That's the thing. That's the nut that needs to be cracked, is I want to make this game with a compelling story, because Destiny 2 was better, but it wasn't the best. And I think there's still room to figure out how to be like, all right, you want to learn what the hell the Scar are? Like, they do this whole thing of like, we're dropping you in. You're this dude who's been on the job for 2 years or whatever. I don't really know, because my concept of time with this game is not anywhere near stable. But like, the idea that like you're supposed to know all of this stuff already means that we need to put all of this garbage into the Cortex, which is this game's grimoire, in order to like have that explanation stuff there for you to learn more about it. But like, where's the world where it's like, here are the Scar, this is what they do. Like, there's this really cool thing with the Scar where if you read the grimoire or the Cortex, it's like the Scar are these colonies of bugs that emulate life forms that they come into contact with.
Oh.
They are not humanoids. It is thousands of little bugs that have made a human body, that work in concert to make a human body.
That's
which
really
is like
cool.
The Geth of Mass Effect. Yes, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't read the Cortex.
Yeah, I didn't know that was part of this game.
But as they brought up on the Waypoint podcast, wouldn't it be sweet if like your stronghold mission was like you know what? We found an ancient Scar that looks like a gigantic dinosaur. And this is where we learn what the Scar actually were.
But maybe that's what's coming with some of these later strongholds and things, is they will start explaining some of that stuff.
Maybe.
But the problem is, if the game's getting such a poor response, we may never get to see that. And that's what scares me about this. Because I actually do like playing this game, and I do like the story, and I want to see where it goes. But EA is not a company that gives games like this a second chance.
Yeah, not necessarily.
That's definitely something to worry about. Like Gladys said here, like Siege was broken at the time, and 3 years in, it's more popular than it ever was because they actually gave it a chance.
But
and they fixed
Ubisoft is the kind of company that does that.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas EA is definitely not.
Activision, I think, was to a point only if it was appeasing their shareholders, and now that's why Bungie is not part of them anymore.
It's not on a community to find a game. It is on the game to foster a community. It's not, we poor EA, we need you to come and champion our game so we keep making it. No, that's bullshit. Like, people need to have a game that feels great and that they want to champion. It's not like it should never be if you want more of this, put more money down on it. It should just demand of the audience.
Right, I agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think we're going to have that chance.
We don't know that yet. We don't know. I don't know what they have this roadmap laid out. It looks really promising. There's probably they said there's new missions and strongholds and stuff coming with each month, pretty much, which is how they want to get people like me who only paid for 1 month of Premiere. That's fine, but I think it's still on them if they made a game that doesn't live up to expectations.
Right.
aside from like that initial trailer thing that I was talking about, where they show you walking from Fort Tarsus to your javelin, getting in and flying out into the field. That is not this game. They didn't make that. And first trailers never really work out that way. I still want that game. It'd be sweet if Anthem 2 was that
If there
game.
was no load screen between getting in your suit and going into...
If there weren't 4 load screens between getting a weapon and trying it out. Like...
Yeah, I mean, the lack of an accessible inventory system is definitely like bummer.
I just wonder if that's something they can even fix at this point.
And who knows?
And if they would.
Right.
Because, I mean, that definitely sucks some enjoyment out. Because I don't want to spend like say I play the game for a couple hours and I'm spending 10 minutes of that time or something just in load screens. That's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Here's something that Destiny 2 did great. All right. There are parts of the story where you get exotic weapons. That's awesome. But up until you finish the story of this game, the only reason that I got an epic weapon or whatever was because I started in Origin Premiere and they gave me one. But up until you get to level 30 or whatever and can do the Grandmaster missions and get masterwork weapons, you only get the same 4 or 5 different weapons within a weapon category. And they're just more powerful with like slight perks to other weapons or things on your javelin.
I do feel like the loot's not very exciting compared to Destiny.
Which is a big bummer to me too. Like I wish there was this variety. There was this like, oh man, I want to try out this new assault rifle because it does things really differently. It's like, no, I've tried out the different assault rifles you can get and I only like this one, so I'm only going to upgrade to that one when I get it.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi game, so they really don't have an excuse for like boring weapon design. Like something like The Division, I mean, it has to work within real world confines a bit. So obviously,
I don't expect this game to be Borderlands where it's like I have a gun that shoots guns and I have a gun that you reload by throwing it at people. Like that's not what I want.
That's a real thing. I don't know if there's a gun that shoots guns. Is there?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. There's a gun that will shoot randomly generated guns.
That is
Borderlands
amazing.
2. But anyway, like there's some sort of they're missing the opportunity to like show me what is cool about the game during the story. And if all of that is in the end game, that's sweet and it gives me something to do at the end of the game, but like you got to give me that breadcrumb trail to actually get there, you know? Like you got to show me what's coming. You got to give me that tease. But like I've said a lot of negative about the game, but like it has so much promise to it. It can be so good, and I think if this game is given a year, it'll be fantastic when we get there. As long as they like make changes and they do things differently. Who knows? Maybe even the quest that we get hung up on isn't necessarily going to be in the game a year from now.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
Destiny 1 got completely reworked and things
true.
like that. So these types of things can change. But when there's so much that's wrong with the fact that you need to like hit 4 load screens to switch out a weapon, you're not going to make people want to play your game for a year.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm really just surprised they didn't learn as much as they could have from the other games that I feel are in this category.
That's the most disappointing thing about it. Like, they had several years to learn, and obviously game development is fucking hard. I get it.
It just makes me think like what, because they probably had some kind of like private alphas and stuff like that where like
they did, and you know what? There was a pilot progression level where you would get like enhancements to how long you could fly and like different things like that, and they ripped it out of the game since October.
Wow,
that changed 4 months ago. 4 months ago, they pulled out the progression system, and now it's something that they're teasing for like later on. Cool.
Well, maybe there was something about it that just wasn't working.
But
right.
anyways,
maybe
like,
they needed more time to work on it.
What I was going to get at was like how were none of these things that we're talking about? How have they not been addressed since then? Like, or have they been addressed and they just like the stuff that was before was even worse? Like, what the fuck was the game before they started changing everything? Like,
that's the thing. That's the problem. That's what people are disappointed
I just
in.
don't want. I'm just tired, and I really just shouldn't watch YouTube reviews anymore about games.
You should never go on
terrible
YouTube.
anyways. Why
all
don't you
of
just
these-
read an article?
They're fucking awful. Like, and the people who make these videos are the most terrible human beings in the world. Like, they're just.
Except for the Midwest Game Nerds podcast on YouTube.
We're not
check that out.
But we're not making that like I feel like we actually do a much better job of like critiquing a game from like a normal standpoint. Whereas like these guys are they're literally just like, the title of the video is Anthem is the worst game ever created, and it's like, you're a fucking moron. Like clearly you're not playing the same game I'm playing. Like,
it's the people that are like, oh, people are hating on Anthem. I want to get those hate watch clicks. Let me put it out there and get all the hits and monetize.
Yeah,
there are games that are far worse than Anthem. Definitely. There's definitely fun to be had here still, for sure.
Clearly,
There's
none of these people have ever
fixed.
played The Order 1886, is all I have to say. That is the worst fucking game I've ever played.
It's pretty bad.
It's even worse than Rockstar's Oni that came out on PlayStation 2.
Is it worse than E.T. for Atari, though?
E.T. for Atari, like, you didn't even, there's nothing to do in that game. So, like, this Order had, like, somewhat of a point. And like E.T., you just got to be E.T. and is like, like between different like rooms.
The Order had really good graphics.
That's all it had
Also
going
true.
for it was good graphics.
E.T. had great graphics at the time.
At the time, they were like revolutionary,
lifelike.
Sure.
But I'm really just tired of reviewers making me feel bad for liking a game that I like, and I know like I really shouldn't let them do that sort of thing, but they do, and it's because like I don't know, like I really do feel like I'm playing a different game that they've played, like that, or I'm able to look at it from a different standpoint.
That's why we do this podcast, so you can propagate your own opinion of these things.
You are able to look at it from a different standpoint because there are people out there that want something different than you.
But it's those videos that, like, even though I have my opinion, they're the type of videos and people that would be like, well, your opinion, though it is your opinion, is completely wrong.
People are assholes and people suck, and the world is a terrible place. But you can still like video games. You can like whatever video games you want.
The Midwest Game Nerds podcast does condone the things that Alex Morrell says.
Yeah, it's been a really long, hard winter here in Michigan, so our positivity is a little low.
No, the outlook is pretty bleak.
I think those things all the time. It doesn't matter what season it is, but in general, people suck, and video games can be good.
I just really hope we get a chance to see this game evolve, is what I'm hoping.
I hope so too.
And this,
Evolve wasn't a very good game.
No, it wasn't.
I am not disappointed with what I've purchased here. The money I've spent on this game, I am really enjoying it. It's clearly not going to be for everyone. It's barely for anyone at this point. But
I think you're wrong about that. There's a lot of people still playing this game and enjoying it. I think they're just not the vocal minority on YouTube that gets all the attention.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I hope other people can find things they like about it. It kind of makes me a little more pumped for the Division to see what that ends up being like for D2. But at the same time, like, I feel like once Division 2 comes out, I'm not going to touch Anthem at all.
Yeah,
and that sucks. Like,
it's only like a couple weeks.
So
then Sekiro dies. Shadows Die Twice comes out, and I'm not going to touch the Division. Like, the problem is there's too many games.
Here's what I'll say. For $14.99, you can play this game for 30 days, and if you like it, you get 10% off in the Origin store. You're only paying $5 for a month's worth of access. I think that's a perfectly viable way to play this game right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think you can also wait and see what happens with it.
But not everybody has that opportunity. That sort of opportunity isn't open to people who,
on PlayStation.
If you're on PlayStation. You can do that on Xbox and you can do that on PC, but you can't do that on PlayStation.
And so obviously
sell your PlayStation.
Yes.
Build a PC because it's the best.
Advantage to those two platforms because you can do that type of thing. And I think, for me personally, I don't regret spending the $15 to play this game, regardless of whether or not I'd be talking about it here, because I think eventually I will have $15 worth of enjoyment out of it. I have enough of a good time. If you played
like a dozen hours or something, you've gotten your money's worth, in my opinion.
Let's do a PSA here right now. If you don't know what the combo system is in this game, you should go look it up, because there are certain skills that will prime things for a combo and then detonators that will set them off.
I've noticed it say combo once in a while, but I don't know what primes things and what sets them off.
That's where the teamwork part comes in with like playing with other people. Is
okay.
like
cool.
That's because I needed to have combos.
I mean, that makes sense to me because Mass Effect, like, you could set your own combos up with your party.
And certain characters are better at priming a combo than they are at detonating them, and vice versa.
Probably the biotic guy.
Well, like Alex's whole setup was geared towards like priming things, and then mine was geared towards detonating. So
well, and that's because John was like, "This is one of the things I need to finish to finish this quest." So I was like, "All right, I'm going to prime things for you. You need to detonate in order to get the actual combo marker." And then that way, I was able to just hit a bunch of guys with this primer, and then he could come in and throw his grenade, which would detonate it. And the things that prime and detonate for each class are very different. So, and you can also prime and detonate for yourself too, which is also cool.
Yeah.
Depending on what skills you have. But like, none of this is explained in the game
so
anywhere.
Nobody knows how to do it, which is a bummer. I mean, I feel like the intro level, they could have done a better job of explaining priming and detonating in that sequence specifically. But they didn't for whatever reason. Other than that, though, I wish armor had an effect, like the different armor had an effect on your stats. I wish there was more of an inventory system. Like inventory management is kind of fun for me. Like my main gripe is with the menu system in general.
The menu system's pretty shitty.
The menus in the loading screen the whole process is so convoluted and garbage that like it can be it's very frustrating until you just find a gun that you really fucking like and you're just going to use that one constantly. Even though it may be slightly underpowered, it doesn't matter. You're still going to use it until you find the same gun that is powered up to that point.
Yeah.
I found one of my abilities for my ranger is so fucking overpowered. It's ridiculous. It just fucking melts enemies, and it's awesome. It's literally a laser beam that I shoot out of my arm, and it melts them.
Oh, I thought you were going to say eyes. Damn.
Excuse me.
That'd
I
be
keep
more fun.
burping up my brunch, and it's just like, onions and peppers. Oh, my. Anyways, but to kind of go back, we did get a copy of the soundtrack with our Origin Premium access,
cool.
And
for some reason it's a gigabyte. I don't know.
High quality audio,
apparently,
I guess.
FLAC,
better than CD quality.
I'll put it on my Neil Young Pono player or whatever the hell that
was. The music's fantastic. It's pretty epic. There, you can get into some pretty awesome firefights. The story at the point that we're at is really starting to open up, and I like it.
And like anybody who loves BioWare Mass Effect 2, this isn't that. It's not there yet, but I can see it getting there. Like that game is gold standard. This is what a video game story is. Getting through loyalty missions with all the different people in that game, and in the end being like, "We will die for you, Shepard," is fantastic.
Yeah,
Goosebumps.
They do if you fuck up.
Yeah, but I didn't fuck up because I'm awesome. But by the end of it, like we're just like 2/3 into this game, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I know who these people are. I can get more, like I'm starting to understand more about their past relationships, and that's all on you going through the city and talking to people in between missions and things like that. And it's there.
It definitely helps make the game the game world feel more alive.
Yes,
because it doesn't feel very alive when you're out in the world, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't feel like a real world to me.
But at the same time, I like the fact that like they changed the way it worked. Like people Fort Tarsus is weird because it's ripe for being a social space, but they consciously chose to make it so that you're the only one in there, which also kind of makes you feel special as you walk through.
Yeah,
like
I think
it gives
why
you.
they did that.
Yeah, you don't have somebody running up to your quest giver and like teabagging, like because that's me in Destiny. And, and then like
and
you walk up to
Six
get your
Siege.
quest and you're trying to have a serious conversation, but there's some dude that's like standing in between both of you and like none of that happens, which I think is a really cool and awesome choice, and I think that's awesome. But at the same time, it could have been more seamless. I don't know why you can't. Can you just walk from Tarsus into the social space? Because I know you can do vice versa.
There might be a door, but yeah, there's a loading screen.
Okay. Because that would have been cool to like, and we'll see what they change in it. But all in all, there's a lot of good that could come out of this game, and I just don't know that it's worth $59.99 right now as we speak.
Right.
Yeah. So. Okay.
Anyways,
do you feel good about our discussion, John?
I just feel I feel defeated.
So yes,
I didn't mean to defeat you with anything.
The thing is, I really wanted to rally for this game. Like like I did for Fallout 76, and I still stand by everything I said about Fallout 76. But I don't know, man. Like
this game is way more deserving of it than Fallout 76 is, in my opinion. But for some reason, I'm finding it harder to rally for this.
Deserving of criticism or praise?
Deserving of a rally. I think this game will amount to be more than Fallout 76 ever does.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever figure out how to fix that game.
Seeing as they Amazon's already putting up the next Fallout stuff on in listings as of today, so
it's like it's and I don't know.
Fallout 77 next fall.
I think this game will find an audience, and I hope that it is big enough for EA to want to continue with it.
I don't know, man.
Like, these guys aren't out there looking at Joe EA at the top of EA isn't pulling up YouTube and be like, why is Markiplier shitting on our game? He doesn't care about that. He never will.
In 3 weeks, Anthem's going to be 50% off. I'm making this. In 3 weeks, this game will be 50% off, and by the end of the year, BioWare will have been mostly laid off.
Well,
from EA. EA is going to wipe them out.
That's possible, but EA's got Apex Legends. That's the only good thing they have going for them.
And that has nothing to do with BioWare.
It has nothing to do with BioWare.
Battlefield 5 is really good.
Is it though?
Yeah.
And you want to talk about an unfinished game that they're selling for $60? Battlefield 5 is a pretty good comparison.
they're gonna have a battle royale in that too.
When?
March.
Soon.
Okay.
But I think EA could stand to learn that they could invest into something and make it better. And they did it with Battlefront. And people have already mentioned on all the podcasts that I listen to, on Giant Bomb, on Waypoint, but the idea that maybe they were forced into giving that one room because it's a commitment with Disney. Like, it is an actual licensing situation.
And it's the only Star Wars game they have that hasn't been canceled.
Yeah, but maybe it will have taught them something about putting a little bit more work into their game and making it better over time. I hope they calculated going into this, this game will develop over time.
I think that's why they started pushing the Origin Premiere stuff.
Probably.
It's because they knew that they might not get the sales figures they wanted right away on games like this or Battlefield, and that's why they include them in that.
And when they're
that's another way to get people's money. It worked for me. I was like, oh, that seems like a good deal.
The March update for Anthem has all this sweet shit in it. Guess what? It's a week after your renew date.
Yeah.
People like me are going to be like, fuck, should I do it or not? And maybe more people will. Maybe more people won't. There's a lot of interesting stuff that can come out of this, and I hope that it ends up good for everybody. And we'll see. We shall see. We will talk about this game more this year.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. It's not going to go away right away.
No.
Also, I'm really mad about the Division 2 because I pre-ordered it and didn't get 2 free fucking games out of it.
2 free games?
Yeah, don't you pre-order it now and you get Far Cry Primal and something else?
No. You get to choose between
one. I think you can still do that somehow.
No, he can't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You get to choose.
I did get Assassin's Creed Odyssey for free from Google. Thanks, Google.
You get to choose between Far Cry 5, Ghost Recon Wildlands,
and Primal, I thought, right?
Oh, excuse me. Far Cry Primal, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and
Watch Dogs 2, was it?
Watch Dogs 2. Those are the 3 that you get to choose from.
Wildlands all day.
You don't
get
it.
That's what I'm going to pick.
But
if I do that.
You also didn't get into the technical test thing that I did.
No, that's fucking bullshit. I pre-ordered that shit straight. I bought the expensive one too. Not the $120 one or the $200
the $100 one.
I bought the $100 version, but I did not buy the one that comes with a figure. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably I should have done that because I want the figure because they're kind of cool looking. But
I wanted the game. I wanted a little less since I played the beta because the PC menus are atrocious.
I'm sure
the mouse and keyboard
that'll be fixed.
Yeah, I mean, I could just use a controller and it'd still be better than the console version.
It's a controller game anyways, man.
And John, after my Anthem experience, not playing with John, I'm thinking like, well, is he going to do that with the Division too? Because I really don't want to play the Division by myself.
Another point of order: mouse and keyboard in Anthem feel a lot better than they did even in the demo.
Oh
in
yeah,
my opinion.
Way better. Like that's all I use, and I'm fine with it now.
Yeah, it feels good, and I like flying around and chaining between bodies of water to make sure that I don't overheat.
I just like
the
the controller controls just feel tighter for all of that though, because I feel like having to boost with shift or whatever to get off the ground and everything is a pain in the ass when I can just punch thumbsticks.
I find myself pressing shift for weird reasons. I don't even I'm pressing a lot of shift. It hasn't
shoot faster.
It hasn't popped up the sticky keys button or box that comes up or whatever. But I think there are it probably does work better overall with the controller, and I'll probably have to try that out. But it still feels much better on mouse and keyboard than it used to, which is good.
Cool.
If you want to follow us on social media or see other places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. The Midwest Podcast Network now has a Patreon. The Patreon is meant to benefit all the shows on the network. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and help keep our shows alive and well. Check it out at mpn.bz/Patreon. As always, we do appreciate your feedback, which you can send to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. Thanks again to Gladish, Alan, and Jason K for their feedback that they sent in, and thanks again to Jason K and Gojo for their contributions to our Patreon account. We do appreciate that. In the next 2 weeks, I'm trying to think of what all happens. Rainbow Six Year 4 starts. Nick had a request that we do a State of the Game for Rainbow Six, which I think is an actually pretty awesome idea. And Fuzzy Bojangles Josh wants to come in on that.
We should
do it.
We should do that should be like a bonus.
It could be a bonus episode. I would like to do it though, because it's something we never reviewed.
I mean, we could always do it over Discord too.
Yeah. So I'd like to do that.
We didn't talk about Crackdown 3 at all, but we can confirm that
I forgot I played that.
Yeah, we can confirm that it actually is a video game.
It's real.
After the 5-minute cutscene at the beginning, because I still thought it could have been a movie, but
I think I would have preferred it be a movie, because once I started playing it, it's when I lost interest.
It doesn't really feel that good.
No, it doesn't look very good
We'll talk more about it next time, maybe. Probably not.
Anyways, we'll figure out what we're doing next time, and maybe we'll make an announcement on our Twitch while we're streaming awesome video games. So be sure to check that out. Again, thanks to Twitch for making us affiliates. I dig that.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. And thanks to our new friends that we've made, like Scooter08 and the other guy that jumped in for a second. What was his name? Something weird.
Nostradamus?
Thanks for Nostradamus. He's been around for a little minute now, for a minute.
Cool.
What was it? Gronabar that also
That's
added
too
us.
dark for me to read.
Or wrote in on us here.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, we will let you guys know what we're talking about next time via social media, most likely. So thanks again for joining us this time, and we'll talk to you then. Peace.